What's going on, YouTube? And like the intro says, we're going to see not only if we can beat Pokemon Blue with just a Mr.Mime, but how fast. I've kind of been inspired by J-Rose and Scott's thoughts lately to see how fast I can beat these games with a certain Pokemon. And looking at Mr.Mime's base stats, that 40 HP and 40 attack remind me a whole lot of the trading card. Yeah, it kinda lines up. Now if we look at Mr.Mime's move pool, we see that we have Barrier, Meditate, Substitute, all nice moves, especially for the badge boost. Moving on to the TM list here, we've got some nice moves here. Thunderbolt, Thunder, Solar Beam is a surprise, Thunder Wave, Body Slam. These are all going to come in handy. Mr.Mime is also part of the Medium Fast Experience group. If you don't know what that means, the description is right here. You can pause the video and read that, or just go on Bulbapedia and do some Google research if you don't understand. I'll admit, I don't really pay attention to that stuff. So I chose to replace Charmander with Mr.Mime because I figured Squirtle would give us the toughest time, because Bulbasaur is part poison, so Mr.Mime would probably just wreck that line in the late game. And as you'll see in the first two rival battles here, which after partway through this run I thought about it, should have tried minimum battles, but hey, when you don't play these games often, like you're kinda... My program is to do every battle and fight the optional rival, but Mr.Mime makes quick work of the rival in Oak's lab. And you'll see here, the optional rival battle is just as quickly. I accidentally knocked out a wild Pokemon, so we're now level 6, but I decided to set up with one barrier so that Pidgey's attacks don't do too much. It did hit me with one sand attack, but that's no match for Mr.Mime's confusion, and the critical hits probably help. Squirtle gets a crit of its own, but hey, our special is great, that's our first miss, and we knock out Squirtle and get to level 7. And we're gonna go straight to Brock from here. Saving in Brock's gym, we're at 16 minutes game time, which in my head I'm thinking, hey, that's pretty sweet. You know, we're making good time, but you know, I can't wait to see J-Rose and Scott's thoughts do a playthrough with Mr.Mime because I think they'll break my final time, which you'll see. Anyways, because Brock's Pokemon have such bad special, they really can't stand up to Mr.Mime. Onix comes out, it outspeeds, Tackle, misses a Screech, it goes for Bide. I decided to just set up barriers because, you know, don't want a 2-turn Bide, and I'm going to go ahead and knock it out with Confusion. So the next battle I'm going to show after Brock is one that you're probably going to be like, why? And it's the Super Nerd before the fossils in Mount Moon. Because some of the runs I've seen lately, this guy has been, you know, kind of an obstacle, but for Mr.Mime, it's nothing because Confusion just wrecks his Pokemon. Voltorb, you know, is not a one-shot, but Grimer was, and Coughing should be as well. Yep. And yeah, level 15 there. And, you know, of course, we have to take the superior fossil, the Dome fossil. I don't know anybody that takes the Helix fossil, but I was going for speed, which after Mount Moon is 33 minutes, I probably should have took the Helix fossil. Anyway, I opt to do Rival 2 instead of Misty because my thought process was Rival 2, SSN, Surge. However, I forgot that you need Misty's badge to use Cut outside of battle. So, as you'll see later on in the run, that's gonna be a bit of a problem. But anyway, to the rival fight, you see that Pidgeot was nothing for Confusion, and against Abra, I go ahead and set up 3 barriers because I know Confusion's gonna be a while to knock it out because it's not very effective damage. Abra also has decent special just like Mr.Mime. Rattata, Confusion, almost a one-shot, not quite. Quick attack, and it goes down with another Confusion, and Squirtle comes out. Okay, you know, Confusion's doing almost half, 3-shot, and Mr.Mime so far is really showing us, you know, it's a great Pokemon. I think an underrated one. Anyway, I'm showing the rocket battle because I thought this would be an obstacle for Mr. Mime. Just because the Drowsy, we won't be doing very effective damage to it, and it can put us to sleep. But I pick up the TM for Thunder Wave to paralyze it, so we're guaranteed to outspeed. And so that sometimes it won't attack, I get a lucky Confusion, and it's fully paralyzed. All this Drowsy can do to me is pound. And it sucks that Mr. Mime can't learn Dig, because that would have really came in handy. On the SSN, we're an hour game time into the run, where we take on the second rival. And I also opted to pick up Body Slam here. I thought it would be a good move for Mr. Mime, just in case, you know, we do encounter some of those psychic Pokemon like Drowsy, where our attacks really won't do much damage to it. And as we see here, Mr. Mime is still just cruising through. I opt not to learn Light Screen here, just because I want to keep my current moveset, and you'll see later on in the run that I probably should have deleted Barrier for another move we're going to learn by level up eventually. And really, the rival has been nothing so far compared to Mr. Mime. But Mr. Mime is about to encounter their first roadblock of the run, which is Misty. And it's all because of Starmie. Because Starmie is part Psychic type. And because of that, our attacks aren't going to do much damage to it. Now, Starmie's got some nice bulk to it too, and because of Mr. Mime's frail attack, Body Slam's not going to do much damage. So, this first battle, I opt to paralyze it for sure with Thunder Wave. I get off 2 Body Slams, Bubble Beam's doing about a quarter, Water Gun gets a critical hit, goes for Tackle, gets another crit, and it just hangs on, gets another crit to knock out Mr. Mime. So, maybe this is possible. Round 2. Staryu, it's the same story. Same song and dance. Confusion, it hangs on this time. Water Gun doesn't do that much, and I knock it out. Starmie comes back out. I go for... oh, it outspeeds me. Lowers my speed. I go for Thunder Wave. And then I start the Body Slams. Misty uses an X Defend. We're doing a lot less damage now. My speed gets lowered again by Bubble Beam and critical hit. And that's 2 losses in a row to Misty. So, I opt one more time. I'm thinking, you know, this is close. I just need a tiny bit of luck. Staryu, once again, goes down to 2 Confusions. This time I opt for Body Slam right away, hoping for the paralysis right away and get it. I get another Body Slam, Bubble Beam doesn't crit, and I crit with Body Slam, and Misty is defeated. And with Misty now out of the way, we can use Cut outside of battle, and we can now take on Lieutenant Surge. We will be getting our next move, Thunderbolt, once we defeat him. And this is going to stay on our moveset for the duration of the game. Surge starts with Voltorb, I go for Confusion, critical hit. It probably mattered. Pikachu's next, Confusion, and it hangs on, which makes me think if Pikachu hung on, the crit probably mattered with Voltorb. Now I'm worried with Raichu because I'm paralyzed. Thunderbolt does half. I get a critical hit with Confusion. Surge goes for X speed and a second critical hit. Ends Surge, and we get Thunderbolt. Now, outside of Rock Tunnel, I'm thinking to myself, I'm making good time. Hour and 32 minutes in, what path should I take next? And honestly, I opt to take on Rival 4 in the tower next. My thought process was Rival 4, Rocket Game Corner, Erica, Koga, Sabrina, Blaine, Giovanni. And I feel like if I do these runs more often, I'll get better at mapping out things on what will probably be the best path, especially for speed. But I'll take what I can get, especially, you know, with the knowledge I have of these games and not really playing them too much now as an adult. Anyways, Rival 4, I go for Thunderbolt on Pidgeotto. The crit probably didn't matter. It's a one-shot. Growlithe, I go for Confusion. And it hangs on. It does about 2/3. Leer, that's gonna badge boost us a little bit. Another Confusion knocks it out. Execute comes out, and this Pokemon's gonna be a problem later on. But for now, it's not too much of a problem. Body Slam still doesn't knock it out. It goes for Barrage, gets a critical hit, but only hits 3 times. Third Body Slam finishes it off. And Kadabra's gonna come out next after we level. And it's also going to be a one-shot with Body Slam, I think? No, it barely hung on. Goes for Confusion, doesn't confuse us, so that's good. And now Wartortle really isn't gonna stand a chance to our Thunderbolt. And so far, so good for Mr. Mime. The only obstacle so far has been Misty, and Surge looked like he could have beat us, but we got the close victory. And Giovanni at the Rocket Game Corner is nothing for Mr. Mime now. I went ahead and picked up Psychic, which Psychic one-shots Onix, one-shots Rhyhorn, and Kangaskhan hangs on, goes for Comet Punch, misses. It could have knocked us out if it got a 5-hit Comet Punch, but we defeat Giovanni. And you'll see I didn't bother healing for Giovanni. In front of Koga, I'm at 2 hours, 17 minutes. And Koga's actually not a first try victory. And you'll see why here. I come into the fight poisoned because I didn't want to go back to the Pokemon Center. The Juggler with the Drowsies and Hypnos right before him used Poison Gas and got me. Muck is not a one-shot with Psychic. It goes for Minimize. Thankfully, I hit my next Psychic, and we level up. Coughing number 2 is a one-shot just like the first one. Wheezing, I really need it to use Smog or Toxic, and we win. And it goes for Sludge. And yeah, that's it for Mr. Mime. So let's try that again. Coughing number 1 meets Psychic. Critical hit, probably didn't matter. Muck meets Psychic. Muck hangs on once again. This time goes for Disable. Disables Thunderbolt, that's good. We level up once again. Coughing number 2 meets Psychic. And Wheezing, I'm gonna go for Psychic. Hangs on, and it goes for Smog, and we win. And 5 badges down for the Pantomime Pokemon. But we're about to encounter our next roadblock in the form of Rival Fivel. Now, I was pretty proud at the 2 hours, 24 minutes time here, but I'm gonna spend quite a few attempts here on Rival Fivel. So first is Pidgeot. I go for Thunderbolt, not a one-shot, hits me with Wing Attack, it's pretty weak. Thunderbolt KOs it. Next is Growlithe, and here I just knock it out with Psychic. Oh, not knock it out, it's a 2-shot, which kinda sucks. So Execute comes out, I go for Body Slam, critical hit really didn't do a lot. It gets me with Leech Seed, goes for Leech Seed again, so I'm on a timer, I've already got low health. It paralyzes me, and at this point I know I'm probably done. I know I'm not going to outspeed Alakazam because of this. I get paralyzed 2 turns. I level up in the process, which tells me that on my next attempt, setting up the badge boost will probably be a bad idea. Anyway, I'm getting really bad luck here, not getting the paralyze. Alakazam's AI finally disables Body Slam, and I just opt to reset at this point. So repeating the fight again, this time I elect to go for Barrier on Pidgeot to boost my stats some and badge boost a little bit. Sand Attack fails, I go for Thunderbolt, still not a one-shot, and Sand Attack connects. And I miss my next Thunderbolt, and another Sand Attack connects. God, that sucks. Anyways, Growlithe comes out, Psychic misses. Twice. Thankfully, Takedown's not doing anything because of all my barriers. The critical hit definitely mattered. Body Slam does half. Execute goes for Reflect. so they're gonna do even less now, but I paralyze it, and 3 down. We level up, so all our badge boosting is now gone. Alakazam, critical hit, paralyze, goes for recover, I miss. Confusion, not very effective. And Psybeam, it's literally a battle of just like weakness. Blastoise comes out, I go for Thunderbolt. Not a one-shot, it goes for withdraw though, and Rival Fivel essentially hands me that battle. It's pretty nice. And I don't know why I put this rocket battle in here. Actually, now I remember. We're going to level up during this battle. And during this battle is where I feel like I made a mistake in this run. And that's because we're going to level up to level 39, and we can learn Meditate, which I opt not to. And my thought process at the time was, we'll be able to badge boost more with Meditate, but Meditate's going to increase Mr. Mime's abysmal attack. And I'd rather have Barrier for our paper-thin defense. Even though it's less badge boost, just the overall, benefit of my defense instead of my attack, I felt like was much better. But I will regret it later on, and you'll see why. But let's talk about this Giovanni fight. Kangaskhan nearly knocks us out, but the rest of his Pokemon, Nidorino went down with Psychic, Rhyhorn goes down with Psychic, Nidoqueen is up next, not sure if I'll knock it out. I don't, it goes for Tail Whip and hands us the battle. Whew. Alright, we are cruising. And next up, we're gonna take on Sabrina. And she's another one who I'm not sure how it's gonna go. Just because I know her Pokemon have very high special, just like mine is very high special. So I opt for Body Slam. It's not a one-shot on the Kadabra. Kind of surprising, she sends out her own Mr. Mime, who I hit with a Body Slam and get a crit, and her Mr. Mime decides to slap mine around a little bit. But her Mr. Mime is no match for a Body Slam. Venomoth is a one-shot with Psychic, and we level up once again, and now comes Alakazam. It goes for Recover, I opt for Body Slam. I need a Paralysis here because I feel like it's just going to keep going for Recover. And I need to Paralyze it, which I do so I can move first. Critical hit, fully paralyzed, and that is Alakazam. And 6 badges down. Or is it? Because I did forget to battle Erica, who at this point in the game is no match for Mr. Mime. Psychic is a one-shot on all of her Pokemon due to being part poison types, so we lucked out here. I wish I would have done this battle probably after the Rocket Game Corner. Her Pokemon might have done a little better, but at this point in the run, Mr. Mime's just too overpowered for her. Now for Blaine, who is also an obstacle. You'll see I saved in front of him at 2 hours 50 minutes, which the time won't increase too much later. Blaine sends out Growlithe. I decide to set up the badge boost against it. I go for Barrier, get my 3 barriers. It's funny that Blaine used a Super Potion after Takedown. Psychic, still not a one-shot, which is a little surprising. I know his Pokemon have decent special, and his badge is the one that will actually boost my special when I badge boost Glitch. Ponyta is also a 2-shot. Rapidash looks like it's going to be a 3-shot now. Goes for Tail Whip. Okay, Psychic. And now his ace, Arcanine. We go for Psychic. Wow, that's not doing a lot. It's going to be a 3-hit. Super Potion. Okay, we get the special drop. Takedown. Critical hit. So all those barriers just ignored. Let's try that again. I really feel like if Arcanine just doesn't get a critical hit, we're good. So the strategy's same as before. Set up barriers on the Growlithe for the badge boost. I decided to go for another barrier because it hit me with a Leer, so I figured, hey, extra badge boost, why not? Go for Thunderbolt, nearly a one-shot. And I opt for another badge boost and knock out the Growlithe. I get a critical that didn't matter. Ponyta, not a one-shot with Psychic. I get the special drop. It goes for Tail Whip, lowering my defense, boosting all my other stats. Psychic, doing half to Rapidash. I did get a special drop, but I got a critical hit. And now Arcanine. Let's go for Body Slam. I get the lucky Paralysis. Blaine goes for Super Potion. I go for Psychic. Blaine goes for a Super Potion again. Psychic's not doing a lot. Fire Blast. We hung on. Okay, and oh wow, Psychic knocked it out. And 7 badges now for Mr. Mime. And saving in front of Giovanni, we're at 2 hours 57 minutes. So we could possibly get a sub 3 hours 30 minutes time. And we know Giovanni. His Pokemon all have horrible special except for the Nidos, and they're going to stand no chance. We level up after the Rhyhorn, which is nice. Dugtrio, I was worried would outspeed us, but we one-shot it with Psychic. Nidoqueen, one-shot with Psychic. Nidoking, one-shot with Psychic. And we level up after Nidoking. Rhydon comes out. I go for Psychic and critical hit. I wonder if that mattered. I know Rhydon has really bad special, but it's got very tanky defense. We're at 3 hours even, saving in front of the last rival battle. And this is another roadblock for Mr. Mime. And the Pokemon that's going to give us the most trouble is Execute. And you'll see why here. Pidgeot gets a big critical with Quick Attack. I go ahead and set up Barrier for the badge boost. I've got my 3 barriers set up. Go for Thunderbolt. One-shots Pidgeot. Rhyhorn comes out. I know Psychic will one-shot it. Growlithe. Psychic should be a one-shot. It is. And we level after Growlithe. That's not good. Execute comes out. I Body Slam it. Poison Powder doesn't affect me, and you see Mr. Mime's abysmal attack, which is kind of why I wish I had Meditate at this point. I'm sure, you know, 4 Meditates plus Body Slam would have knocked out Execute a lot quicker. But we're on a timer. Alakazam finishes off with Psychic. And we're going to try that again, because I feel like we really did get some bad luck on Execute. And I know that we level after Growlithe, so I want to attempt it again. If we lose again, I'll use a rare candy, and then try again. That way I know I won't level during the battle, or at least not before the Execute. Once again, Pidgeot goes for Quick Attack. Thunderbolt is not a one-shot, but we knock it out. Rhyhorn comes out, Psychic, one-shot. Growlithe, kind of wonder if Psychic will be a one-hit. It is. And this is where I gamble some. Execute comes out. I go for Barrier to badge boost. It poisons me. It takes in Sunlight, so it's going for Solar Beam. I'm hoping for a Paralysis. Don't get it. Solar Beam does decent damage, you know, considering that our HP is not the best. And it also hits us with Leech Seed, and it's not looking good for us. Next is Alakazam, Body Slam, critical hit, Poison, Leech Seed, Psychic, same as result as before. So, after 2 losses, I think to myself, you know what? Let's use a rare candy. We're going to set up our badge boost barriers on Pidgeot. And Thunderbolt. One-shots it. Next up is Rhyhorn, who's also a one-shot once again. You guys know the deal. Growlithe, it'll be a one-shot with Psychic. And now Execute. How much will Body Slam do? It does about a quarter. It hits me with Leech Seed. Oh, maybe that's doing a third. I do get the lucky Paralyze. And the biggest obstacle's gone. Alakazam's next. Body Slam looks like it's doing half. Big critical hit Psybeam, but we get a critical hit Body Slam, and we level up after Alakazam. And we get the opportunity to learn Substitute here, which I opt not to. And I also had regrets later on about that. But Blastoise gives us the win by going for Skull Bash. And now it's time for the league. We save at a time of 3 hours and 11 minutes. What will we finish with? So, Lorelei, I'm not too worried about. She's actually pretty consistent. Anyways, Dugong comes out, I go for Thunderbolt. Not a one-shot, does half. I do another Thunderbolt, and it goes down. Next is Cloyster. Cloyster's special I don't think is as good as Dugong's, but Lorelei Super Potions. One more Thunderbolt, it goes down. Now, next is Slowbro, and my plan here is to use Barrier to Badge Boost glitch on it. And as long as Slowbro doesn't use Amnesia, we're fine. I go for 2 barriers, Thunderbolt doesn't one-shot it, but a second one. Now Jinx kind of worries me because Ice Punch can freeze. Body Slam really does nothing, so I go for Thunderbolt. It goes for Double Slap, doesn't do much. Thunderbolt knocks it out, and now for Lorelei's Ace, Epris. Thunderbolt doesn't knock it out, hits me with a Blizzard. Ooh, that did a lot of damage, but we still win the battle. And Lorelei is actually pretty consistent. Lorelei, however you say it. Bruno, I'm sure you can guess, is a pushover. The strategy against Bruno is I use Barrier to just Badge Boost, but you don't even really need to. Went for a second, Slam, does nothing. You'll see I didn't even heal against Bruno, but Psychic, Level Up, Psychic, Crit, didn't matter. Hitmonlee, Psychic. Onix number 2, Psychic. And Machamp, Psychic. Oh, it hangs on. Goes for submission, doesn't do a lot of damage, not very effective, plus the barrier. And that is Bruno. And Mr.Mime is just now hitting level 50. And now I remember to heal up, and I actually make a mistake here. And that's, I don't restore my power points for Psychic. Will it cost me against Agatha? Let's find out. So Agatha's gonna lead with her first Gengar, and I'm gonna go for Psychic. That crit probably mattered. Golbat's next, and I decide to Badge Boost against it. I go for Barrier, Wing Attack does nothing, and Golbat uses Haze. And that's not good because I'm pretty sure Haze removes all my Badge Boosting. I'm confused. Hit it with Thunderbolt, it's not a one-shot. And the second Thunderbolt knocks it out. Agatha then sends out Haunter. I misclick, go for Thunderbolt again, and it crits, so hey, awesome. I go for Psychic on Arbok, it's a one-shot. Now Gengar number 2 I'm worried about. It outspeeds, hits us with Nightshade, one more of those, we're toast. And it goes for Dream Eater, giving us the win. So on its first attempt, Mr.Mime has made it to Lance. But I make a mistake here. You'll see that I heal up. But I may forget to oh, nope. I use a rare candy just to see. And yeah, you'll notice I didn't restore my power points. And this is going to cost me big time, as you'll see here. But Lance tells us about his dragons, and on to the battle. So, Lance leads with Gyarados. I go ahead, send out Mr.Mime. I decide to Badge Boost with Barrier. Hydro Pump does over half. Dragon Rage, and now we're really hurting, so at this point I have to go for Thunderbolt. Get a critical hit, it probably mattered. Dragonair number 1 hangs on, but Lance uses a Hyper Potion. I'm out of Psychics now. Hyper Beam, we hang on, And Body Slam, we don't get the KO, and that's our first loss to the league. And it took me a couple tries to get back to Lance. The first 3 members are pretty consistent. Honestly, Agatha did beat us once, just because Gengar number 2 double Nightshaded, so that we couldn't stand up to that. But I'm gonna try again. I go for Barrier, it goes for Dragon Rage. I go for a second Barrier, it goes for Leer, badge boosting my other stats but lowering my defense 1 stage. So now Thunderbolt can one-shot it. Dragonair number 1 hangs on barely from Psychic. Hyper Beam doesn't do a lot. I decide to badge boost with Barrier. The main thing we're concerned about is outspeeding Aerodactyl. That's the one Pokemon I'm worried about, but honestly, as you'll see in this battle, Dragonite is the big problem. Psychic is not a one-shot, and I should have went for Thunderbolt on it because Thunderbolt is a consistent one-shot. And we're down to the final Pokemon, but we level up. What will we do to Dragonite? A quarter. And Hyper Beam, we hang on. Psychic, no special drop, and Hyper Potion after it just hung on. And Dragonite knocks us out with Slam. So, a couple tries later, we get back to Lance. And you know the strategy by now, except this time I opt to just go for Thunderbolt, and it's a one-shot. You'll notice I use an extra rare candy here. And Dragonair number 1 decides to go for Dragon Rage, and then a Slam that misses. We've got 2 badge boosts. Psychic doesn't one-shot, but Hyper Beam is doing no damage. On the recharge, I decide to use one more Barrier, knock out the first Dragonair. Dragonair number 2 is almost a one-shot, but Dragon Rage, we didn't want to see that. We've barely got any HP left for Dragonite. I go for Psychic on Aerodactyl. I really need to go for Thunderbolt here, which I actually do, and one shot. And we level up. So even using a rare candy before Lance, we still level up. Dragonite, Hyper Beam, yeah. And Lance was a roadblock for maybe about 15 minutes real time every time I made it back to him. And at this point I was thinking, do I need to go back and level up more? And as you're watching this battle, just to, touch on some things, I had said before in the video that I would regret not learning Meditate. And the Elite Four was one of those times where learning Meditate would have been useful, but not having Barrier would have also hurt. Reason being, Meditate, I could use more badge boost, and Body Slam on some of these Pokemon like the Dragonairs and Jinx and whatnot, it would have probably been a one-shot. And the further badge boost would have helped my other stats. But enough rambling from me, you'll see that we finally defeated Lance. And there's only one trainer left that stands in our way, Sloppy, who, if you're wondering, is named after one of my good friends. He actually has a YouTube and Twitch, Sloppy Joe. I'll leave his channel in the description. You should check him out sometime. But he is the only trainer left that stands in our way. Will we defeat him on our first attempt? Let's find out. Now, if you remember the Rival 6 battle, you'll know that Execute was kind of a hurdle for us. And Executor is even bulkier. The Rival leads with Pidgeot, Whirlwind, that's good. Wing Attack, does nothing. We've got 2 badge boosts set up. Thunderbolt, it hangs on by a sliver. I'm surprised it's not going for Mirror Move. But we knock out Pidgeot. Alakazam is next. Body Slam does about half. It goes for Reflect, and I switch to Thunderbolt. It goes for Recover, and at this point I'm thinking we really need a Paralyze from Thunderbolt. It goes for Reflect again, that's good. Will this knock it out? Yes, it does. Right on, we can use use Psychic, and it should one-shot. It hangs on, that's okay. Leer, okay, we get our other stats boost. I go for Barrier to further badge boost. It goes for Fury Attack, which does nothing, and we knock it out with Psychic. Alright, 3 Pokemon down, 3 left. Arcanine is next, and Psychic doesn't one-shot it. It goes for Leer, further badge boosting us. And now we level up. And next is Exeggutor. So I decide to badge boost what I can. I go for Body Slam, critical hit, but you see how little it did. And it gets a critical hit Stomp, which just wrecks us. And we don't have enough HP to withstand its remaining attacks. And I try again. And I know that if we can consistently get by Lance, all I need is a little bit of luck to get by the rival. So Pidgeot, it's the same strategy. This time I go for 3 barriers to fully boost our defense, get all the badge boosts that we can. Thunderbolt, it's still not a one-shot, it barely hangs on. But that's okay. Alakazam is next, Body Slam, critical hit does over half, we get the Paralyze, it goes for Reflect, Thunderbolt should knock it out, and yes, critical hit, not sure if it mattered. Rhydon is next, we go for Psychic, will it hang on again? No! And that's awesome. Arcanine is next, we use Psychic, does about 3/4, Leer fails, that's okay. We knock it out, we level up, and now we have Exeggutor, so all of our badge boosts are gone, but we get a lucky Paralyze with our first Body Slam. Stomp's doing nothing, I opt for Thunderbolt, which is also doing nothing, and at this point I switch to Psychic, just trying to get the lucky special drop in. Critical hit, oh man. Stomp, we hang on, oh man. Fully paralyzed, Psychic, come on. Special drop, fully paralyzed. Exeggutor down, 1 left. Blastoise. Thunderbolt. It hangs on, but it goes for withdraw, giving us the win. And with that, we have beat Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue with just a Mr.Mime, and at level 56. But the one thing I was concerned about, did we get a sub 330 time? We'll let Professor Oak, ramble on here. And I guess I'll do a little bit of rambling. Oh, I'll save my rambling, because now we get to see what was our time. Drum roll, and Mr.Mime, level 56, the time, 3 hours, 29 minutes. I'd say that's pretty good for someone who, really doesn't do a lot of these runs and just kind of winged it. Anyways, I want to thank y'all for watching. I've gotten a lot of feedback on these videos and you guys seem to like them. I would like to try to do more than one a month, but right now with my busy work schedule, this is really all I can do. Just to talk about some things that are coming up on the channel, I'm actually trying to get some content prepared for when I go on vacation in early August. Going up to Traverse City for any Michigan viewers watching this. And just to give you a little heads up of what's to come, after the Ocarina of Time Let's Play, we've got Super Metroid, Conker's Bad Fur Day, and the Star Wars Jedi Knight Dual Pack, Jedi Knight Academy and Jedi Outcast. Anyway, I've been rambling enough. Take care, everybody.